So today we're reacting to Nisi.social. She is one of the very few female content creators on YouTube. She did a video on The View, and I thought it was really funny because it hit a lot of points that we make and that other people make about The View, being hypocritical and snooty and all that shit. So
today we have to talk about The View. This show originally started in 1997 and somehow is still on air, and it has become the show that everyone loves to hate. Its current IMDb rating is a well-deserved 2.5 out of 10. Its Rotten Tomato score is 12%, and most of their viral videos have a very high dislike-to-like ratio. According to the US TV database, an average of 2.3 million viewers watch the show every week, and I used to be one of those viewers. Don't judge me, okay? I was watching the show when Kelly Osbourne made the insensitive comment about Mexicans.
If you kick every Latino out of this country, then who is going to be cleaning your toilet, Donald Trump?
Oh, that's... I was watching the show when Whoopi Cushion farted in front of Ashanti.
I will not get the shot. I feel like, why do I want to inject something into my skin that's gonna make... Excuse me? Yeah.
And this person...
I was gonna say... Yeah.
And all of the other times Whoopi Cushion farted.
Enough about his wife to pay the... That was...
I never saw those. I never saw those.
She grabs her booty. She's like, "Was that me?"
It's like, remember when Wendy Williams would fart all the time? I remember this one time she farted and everyone knew it, and she tried to cover it up by, I think it was her producer or something saying that it. Oh, I can't remember what excuse they used.
It was the cushion on the fabric of her dress.
It was something. I don't know, maybe an audio malfunction. I can't remember what excuse they used, but everyone knew that she ripped ass.
I think it's hilarious that they have all those shots of Whoopi, but also like...
Well, when you're an older woman, I guess you flatulate sometimes. But I mean, Joy, she's never done it before.
You don't know that. Maybe
that's true.
Maybe that was Joy, but she's covering.
Joy's got the silent but deadly ones.
Oh my gosh.
That was gas.
Don't know the specifics, but just...
I stopped watching the show in 2020 during lockdowns because that was when I realized that the show wasn't what I thought it was. I remember during the pandemic, they would say things like people who didn't take the shot, they shouldn't be allowed to have access to healthcare. They should be excommunicated. They should be shamed. They're selfish. They're evil. They're the worst. Just very divisive messaging with no regard for the very valid concerns people had about this new experimental gene therapy. Back then, I read.
And I did watch The View almost all the way through the pandemic.
Ah.
Yeah, and all they talked about was how many deaths there were and COVID. They talked a lot about COVID. Can you even say COVID on YouTube? Or do they, like,
You
demonetize
can't say, like, certain facts, because you can't say anything definitive about COVID.
Even if it's on the COVID website?
I don't know.
YouTube's anal.
All I know is what her point is very valid. There's a lot of people who did not want to take a vaccine because we understand the scientific process of medication, where it usually takes 2 to 5 years to approve a drug before you send it out, even if it's a vaccine. And that is the reason why I didn't want to take it, and why I'm sure a lot. And this is something that was when the pandemic started. I was working for a big retail company, and I remember being shocked, just utterly shocked at how many people just went with the herd. Like you don't remember anything. You
like
don't
the
remember any part of it.
Milgram obedience experiment.
Yes, the thing we were just watching. Still just so, like, I'm not college educated like some individuals, like these individuals on The View. But I remember and I understand how medicine works, and I believe in the scientific process of testing it out and then releasing it as safe to people. But that doesn't seem to be what they cared about. They cared more about, oh my God, you don't feel like protecting other people? At what cost to myself?
There were 3 reasons why I didn't ever take the COVID vaccine. Number 1, I was agoraphobic, so I didn't leave the house anyway. So it didn't matter to me.
You got COVID still.
Yeah, I know, because I got COVID from other people that were coming into my house. Number 2, maybe it's just 2 reasons. The second one is the last time I got a flu shot, I got horrifically sick. So I'm like, I'm not going to take a shot that's going to make me sick. And my mom got the shot. She got sick. My dad got the shot. He got sick.
Third reason, it's completely unresearched. You don't know what the side effects are.
Yeah. That too.
You're like, that didn't matter much to me. That mattered the most to me.
That didn't matter in the moment to me. That was like the last thing I was thinking
No,
about.
because
I don't want to get sick.
I want to know how safe this drug is I'm taking. How safe is this thing that medical professionals are putting inside of me, considering there's a lot of medical professionals that don't know what they're doing, and this is a brand new vaccine. How can you prove it works if it's hardly been long enough to see?
Well, the crazy thing is that there were a lot of medications for HIV and cancer that are still haven't gone through to be approved. So I found that really radical that got approved so fast, and yet there's other drugs that people really do need that haven't gotten approved yet.
I think it's just ridiculous. I think it's crazy. You don't take aspirin from a stranger. It's not right. And I can't believe how many people just listened.
Well, because they didn't have a choice. Most people didn't have a choice because they couldn't.
No, I mean, people.
work.
How are people like this? Like, oh, you value your safety over the safety of others.
They're getting paid to say this stuff.
Yeah.
You're talking about like other people.
How do you mean that? How do you mean those words? Because as far as I'm concerned, I wouldn't
don't think they mean it.
I wouldn't
I don't
want
know.
anyone I'm close to getting a vaccine. When COVID had started. If we're at this point, like maybe a year or two ago now, but like then I would have been like, okay, it's a vaccine. It's like the flu. Now we can actually do it. Now we can actually start vaccinating people for it because it's been through the process. But it hasn't. And there's more, that's what it was. There's more consequences and side effects to the vaccines than anything else. I
But
literally...
you can't say that definitively on YouTube.
Yes, I can. I looked it up, remember? When I looked up COVID
So
vaccine.
you're allowed to?
I don't know. I looked up COVID vaccine and I looked up hip issues. And it says, yes, the vaccine causes hip issues. And allegedly, through work, I heard of someone who had to have an entire hip replacement and their doctor exclusively blamed it on the COVID vaccine.
Oh.
And you guys want to just start saying, oh, you didn't care about your safety. You cared more about your safety than other people's safety? Yeah, now this dude's 35 and needs his hip replaced every year. Or whatever, until he fucking dies. He doesn't have his hip anymore.
You have more of a passion about this topic than I do. I don't really care that much
I
about
see
the whole
that you
COVID thing.
don't. It's not the COVID, it's the vaccine. I don't like being forced to take something that is obviously...
Yeah, that's the thing. You were forced to take it, right? Because you were working at Walmart.
No, I took half of the twofer. I took the first half of the twofer and never went back.
Why'd you take it?
Because I was staying with my parents. My dad got sick and my mom was all fucking paranoid, so I had to take it.
So, why was your mom paranoid about it? Where'd she get all radicalized from?
Because my dad got sick and they said he could die from COVID.
But he could have gotten sick from your mom.
Any of us could have gotten sick from him. See where the redundancy is?
But did he get the shot before?
I don't know. I don't remember. I don't remember anymore, you know.
About it being a gene therapy from the Pfizer website. But The View never brought anyone on to have a nuanced discussion on the safety of this shot, despite talking about it damn near every day during lockdowns. Instead, they vilified people who had legitimate reasons to be concerned. These self-righteous women bragged about how they got the shot and were therefore safe and couldn't infect anyone else. And then this happened.
Two of you to step off for a second.
Okay.
Anna and we're going to bring you
Sunny
back later.
have to leave.
Yeah. Yes.
And we'll tell you why.
More information later. It's a tease.
We'll tell you why in a couple of minutes. So shall I introduce the vice president?
Yes.
Okay. So, vice president. No.
Nope.
Okay. Shall we dance? Let's do a tap dance. Since this is going to be a major news story any minute now, what happened is that Sunny and Anna both apparently tested positive for COVID.
So instead of bringing Kamala Harris out, they did the interview by Zoom from backstage. The vaccinated protecting the vaccinated from the vaccinated. Clown world. Then, the following Monday, the show came on and claimed it was all a mistake. Anna and Sunny weren't positive at all.
That Sunny and Anna's Friday results turned out to be false positives, and everyone...
You know, there's two things I noticed in just those 2 seconds of this clip. Sunny is much darker. And they're both, these two ladies here, Anna Navarro and Sunny Hostin, they're both heavier. Now, is that because of the COVID lockdowns and people gain weight? And why is she darker? Shouldn't she be lighter?
She could have a tanning bed at home. She's rich enough.
Yeah.
And then fat definitely because COVID.
Yeah. Okay. Well, that makes sense. Yeah.
Let's say
It was really uncomfortable for my results to be released publicly.
She felt it violated her privacy, but she was the same person who advocated for vaccine passports to enter a building. That was a huge violation of all of our privacy. The one time they had Jedediah Bila on there, they chastised her for not taking the shot, and they accused her of spreading misinformation.
So let's discuss. Let's address the elephant in the room, because you were supposed to join. You were supposed to join us in the studios weeks ago, but you couldn't because ABC has a very strict policy. You can't get into this building unless you're fully vaccinated. Everybody in this room knows that and is vaccinated. But you made a conscious decision not to get the vaccine.
I have a medical exemption to the vaccine that's been written by my infectious disease vaccinated specialist in New York City. I do oppose mandates. I oppose them on the fact that let's look at the science. This is a vaccine that was created to prevent severity of disease and to prevent hospitalizations. Now, we can have a whole debate on that in itself, but the vaccine does not prevent you from getting COVID and does not prevent you from transmitting COVID.
Oh, my goodness.
Reality. And we
No,
have seen
that's
that.
not so. Come on.
No,
You're going to fuck.
This is what I'm asking about how they do. How can you sit there and have someone who is like, I read my information. This is either too new, too experimental, or something I am not willing to subject myself to. How can you sit there and say you're a piece of scum?
Because
as far as I'm concerned, what if I'm sorry, but if it's my religious belief, my intellectual belief, this is what I believe in my soul. So you're persecuting my version of religion.
What's more scary is that the government forced these companies to have their employees take the vaccine. What's even more messed up is when the truckers were striking in Canada. Yeah, Trudeau blocked all their bank accounts. I think that is an absolute disgusting abuse of power. I'm surprised that there was no uprising. The Canadian people just kind of took it. It doesn't make any sense to me. But it's scary how much the government had that kind of power. But what I find also kind of funny is that the same people who wanted the government to wield its power on its people are the same people that are like, oh, well, Trump's in office and he's going to wield his power. It's like, so you can do it, but someone else can't?
Once it's not for them, they don't want it.
Not even saying that he's going to do what they think he's going to do. It's just the fact that, like, that's hypocritical.
Well, when you live your life in one way, consistently doing the same thing over and over and not getting any repercussions, and then you finally have it flipped on you, you're going to assume that the other party's going to do exactly what you f***ing did when you had control. And that's exactly what the left is doing.
I don't like those people anymore.
It's like a self-recognition and then a complete flip.
But it's not taking accountability for the abuse that you caused.
Yeah, because it's not actually a self-recognition. You got to gloss over that and then flip it on them.
Yeah.
It's the same as dating a narcissist.
Yeah, it kind of does sound like that, doesn't it?
Because they're so they're like, you're cheating on me, even though you're not cheating on them.
Yeah.
Because they're cheating on you, and now they want to give you a reason to cheat on them or to feel like you're the problem. Yeah. And that's the narcissistic left.
Yeah, and that's exactly that's the personality of the left. That's them.
There's no blame. This is the problem.
There's no blame. There is a lot of blame. They blame.
No self-blame. There's no blame for the left.
No self-blame.
There's only, they're abusive. They're abusive. Not us. They're the abusive fucks. We're perfect. We're perfectly great. We're wonderful.
We didn't do anything wrong. We don't do anything wrong. It's America.
I didn't steal the cookie from the cookie jar.
You don't have to joy. I'm not opposed to the vaccine, but I am opposed to the mandate 100% on the grounds of science.
People.
I agree completely. I'm not against you choosing to vaccinate yourself. If you feel like you want to get a vaccine, even though it just came out 2 weeks ago, go for it. But do you feel like you should be forced to take that?
No, I shouldn't be forced to do anything I don't want to do.
I don't think I should be forced to take that unless there's definitive.
That's like bodily rape.
Unless
with a vaccine.
Unless there's definitive scientific proof it cures.
Yeah.
Then you can mandate it. If it's guaranteed cure, sure, mandate it all you want. But if you have no proof, if it's now doing damage, what the fuck are you guys smoking?
And the craziest part is that after this whole thing, social media, YouTube, and so on and so forth, silence people and block people or shadow ban them for even having a discussion about it. Not even like stating facts, but just stating opinions.
Then you're labeled as misinformation.
Just because you're having a conversation about it, you're not stating facts or teaching anyone or telling anyone to do anything. You're just having a conversation about it.
You remember the Facebook banners, right? Anytime anyone was saying anything about COVID, it was like, COVID-19 is actually this. Da, 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 da. You remember that?
No, I don't go on Facebook.
Well, that was all over the place.
Well, that's really sick.
Have died from COVID, including Manny's in-laws. And we've been friends a long time, but Manny's parents, I just don't understand why you would choose to prioritize your personal freedom over health and safety of others. And I just really don't think that we should allow this kind of
Remember when Newsom, he told everyone to stay inside, and then he was going out to restaurants and stuff. And during this time, we saw celebrities and we saw government officials doing the exact opposite of what they were telling the American people to do. And then they're telling them, the American people, oh, you got to shut up about it. You can't talk about it. It's like communist China. They're taking notes from communist China.
Don't talk about it or else, you know.
Oh, or we'll silence you. Yeah. And then now they want to have something where they crack down on misinformation. The government cracks down on misinformation.
So you mean they push more propaganda?
Yeah, because who decides what is misinformation? It's like, who decides what is hate speech? It's in the eye of the beholder. So it's not an objective reality. It's a personal, subjective opinion.
I think
You
there are
can't
some
make
things,
laws about that, though.
There are some things you can define as like hate crime. Yeah.
A hate crime, yeah, but not words.
I don't know. We watched that one YouTube video where that white woman looked at the black lady and said, she was going up to black women and saying, you're voting for Trump even though you're black.
Yeah.
And that was definitively considered hate speech by people who weren't black because it's clearly an attack based on race over politics. Well, she hit her physically, so that was a hate crime.
That was definitely a hate crime then, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's different.
Yeah. That's why the cops got called, because she physically...
Oh, yes, on the street corner.
Yes, it
I
was a
remember.
white lady telling the black woman...
She hit two of them.
Two of them. It was a black woman and a Hispanic woman, I'm pretty sure.
I'm trying to save you from yourselves.
Yeah.
Where are those black and Hispanic people? I gotta do some more smacking. Did you vote for Trump? I'm trying to save you from yourself. That's what the white lady was doing.
This is truth.
Information on our
Sonny,
website.
Keep in mind, this interview happened about 2 months after the incident where Anna and Sunny were accused of being infected despite being vaccinated.
Sunny and Anna both apparently tested positive for COVID.
So how was she spreading misinformation? You had the shot, and you still so-called got infected, and you didn't even question it. These women all lack critical thinking skills. It reminds me of when Sunny blamed the solar eclipse on global warming.
We've got a solar eclipse. We've got the
ran down the
earthquake.
hallway.
She ran down the hallway.
The rapture is here.
The rapture's here. And then also I learned that the cicadas are coming. All those things together would maybe lead one to believe that, either climate change exists.
Sunny is the most criticized cast member, and she deserves it. The longer she has been on the show, the more insufferable she has.
Heard all about those cicadas. Yeah. The cicadas in climate change created an eclipse.
They have, there's like two.
Is that what,
That's what she said. But if you look up it for like 2 seconds, you'd find out there's like 2 different cycles of cicadas that come out. I think one's every like 9 years and one's every like 7. Or it's either 7 and 11, 9 and 11, something like that. But this is like one of the first years.
9/11.
This is one of the first years that the cycles ended up on top of each other. So if you had an influx of cicadas, it's not global warming. It's just the way the birthing cycle works.
Yeah, the cicadas are on top of each other, and that's birthing cycle.
She has become, especially when she does that thing, like she's trying to intimidate the guests with the stupid chin rub. It just looks ridiculous. Like, what is this? What is this? Sunny has said many times that she is a devout Catholic, and she has said that she is pro-life because of her faith.
I'm Catholic, I'm pro-life.
Despite being pro-life herself, she has criticized white women who have voted Republican because they are pro-life.
To me, it's the abortion issue. I read a poll just yesterday that white Republican suburban women are now going to vote Republican.
Why?
It's almost like roaches voting for Raid, right?
I think
they're voting
against the voter.
They're voting against their own self-interest. Do they want to live in Gilead?
This comparison
Gilead, she means the Handmaid's Tale. But you could say the same thing about the Queers for Palestine people. But Sunny Hostin would be totally cool with that. She wouldn't see anything wrong with that.
You're also kind of biting the hand that feeds you, though, by talking to all your viewers, dude.
They've been doing that for a long time now.
Yeah, but like,
Sunny Hostin's the worst.
it's coming down now.
Yeah, it is.
obviously upset a lot of viewers who felt that Sunny's comments were racist. And Sunny's rebuttal is that she's not racist because her mother is white.
Anything
Let me
open to hear
respond.
what's being
But she just
said.
said I called white women roaches.
Go ahead
Which
and
my
respond.
mother's a white woman, so
Go
I
ahead and
wouldn't say
respond.
that.
Recently, Sunny has once again
So you're half roach.
Yeah, you would, Sunny. Yeah, you would.
You were so disappointed to find out that you had families that was slave owners.
Remember that? Yeah. What was it? Oh, what was the show
I
called?
don't remember.
and offended viewers when she blamed uneducated white women for being responsible for Trump's reelection.
I want to dig further into the demographics because black women tried to save this country again last night. 92% of black women voted for the vice president. You have Latinas in the 70th percentile voting for the vice president. What we did not have is white women who voted about 52%, right, for Donald Trump, uneducated white women.
So how many of those black women were uneducated? You know, notice she doesn't put that in there.
Mm-hmm.
But no problem just saying uneducated white woman. And what is uneducated? Does that mean went to college, didn't get a degree? Is uneducated not going to high school?
She changes it later to say that they did not go to college. And that's what she just determines as uneducated.
So a woman that never
Went to college or did not complete college.
But they have a high school
Diploma
diploma.
or GED equivalent.
Okay, that's all you need for most jobs.
If you go back 100 years, how many of you motherfuckers went to college?
Women weren't allowed to go to college for a very long time. So uneducated white women uneducated women was all women back in the day.
I'm pretty sure it was uneducated white women that fought for your right to vote. You know, your suffrage.
You have Latino men actually voting more for him, and you have
Latino.
It sounds like from your numbers, if you said it was 92% of black women voted, and you said it was 70% so that means 30% of Hispanic women voted for Trump. You're completely glossing over that. That's not a small number. And once you add the population of Hispanics versus, just whites or whites and black, you realize that having the Hispanics voting the Latinas, as you like to call us, they're a pretty good number. That's a pretty significant shift, don't you think?
Why is it that when she says Latino, she has a lisp?
Everyone, I hate when people do
Latina?
that. They'll be like, Latino, Latinas.
Is it Latino?
Latinas.
Did they talk like that?
I forget which Spanish has the more sound. I think it's not.
Well, she says she's Puerto
Is it
Rican.
Cuban?
So.
Cuban has a th thing. The th.
Oh, I didn't hear that a lot from Ricky Ricardo, but okay.
I don't know. Maybe I'm wrong.
And black men was not the story. We're not the story here because they voted almost 80% for the vice president. Right. So why do you think that uneducated white women voted against their reproductive health freedoms?
First of all, people have the right to vote whichever way they see fit. So blaming a voter.
They have reproductive health rights.
I still have reproductive health rights.
Women over 50 don't have. They don't. Most of them don't have to worry about getting pregnant. So.
Yeah.
You want to blame old uneducated white women? Because
any uneducated white women.
Let's just
point. And she'll say that
if
one.
Someone else said, "Oh, well, all these stupid or uneducated black women were voting for Kamala," they would have a field day with that. What happened to treat people the way you want to be treated? No, it's I can do it, you can't. It's nasty.
That's why their ratings are in the toilet.
Because they're turds in the toilet. And they're circling the bowl.
So blaming a voter for their vote is ridiculous. You should try to understand why people voted a certain way rather than blaming them for your preferred candidate's loss. But I just have to say this. The way that Sunny Hostile goes after white women specifically all the time makes me wonder if her husband had an affair with one and now she's bitter. Another time, Sunny Hostile showed her hypocrisy was in a conversation about Nikki Haley. Now, Nikki Haley, who I'm not a fan of, but her full name on her birth certificate is Nimarata Nikki Randhawa. Nikki is actually a traditional Indian name. However, Sunny Hostin criticized her for calling herself Nikki instead of Nimarata and said that she did it because she wants to hide her Indian heritage.
Nikki Haley was an incredibly effective
What is
governor
her
of
real
South
name
Carolina.
again? There's some of us that can be chameleons and decide not to embrace our ethnicity so that we can pass.
Sunny, I don't think that's fair. You go by a different name.
Just so we're clear, Sunny's name isn't Sunny. It's Asuncion. She Americanized.
Yeah.
I was going to say, that's like saying, because my name is Jessica, you can't call me Jessie. Or my sister, whose name is Janice, you can't call her Jenny, which is very odd. It's not a normal nickname for someone with that name. But they can't do that because it hides her heritage.
Apparently.
It hides my heritage to go by a nickname.
Well, does your normal name Jessica, is that an inherently Puerto Rican name?
It's Hebrew. My mom named us all after the Bible.
I think that's what Sunny was trying to say.
Your name is ethnic, but you don't want to go by that long name. You want to go by something that's easily recognizable.
Yeah, like Sunny's name is Asuncion or something like that. But It's hard to say, so you just say Sunny. But Sunny has no self-reflection talent.
We've been talking about this the whole time. No self-reflection.
None.
Sunny. It's Asuncion. She Americanized her name to Sunny, which has likely benefited her in her career. Also, Whoopi Goldberg's name also isn't Whoopi Goldberg, it's Whoopi Cushion. I'm joking. It's Karen Elaine Johnson, but she changed her name to Whoopi Goldberg for her Hollywood career. Another criticism that I have of the show, and that many people have of the show, is that it markets itself as a place for diverse opinions. And it isn't. Sunny Hostile has the loudest voice at the table. And so if she agrees with what someone has to say, she will let them speak. But if she disagrees with them, she does one of two things. She either continuously interrupts them, preventing them from finishing their argument, or she gives them this death stare. She gives them the death stare, and she does this. And Sunny Hostile loves to single out all of the conservative guests that they have on the show. Take, for instance, when Lindsey Granger was a guest host on the show, and she was essentially auditioning to be the new permanent conservative co-host. During the episode, Sunny talked down on her being a black woman and being a Republican.
But I do say that I have many conservative values that I will talk to you about. And so if you look at your network that you're standing behind, yes, and when you look at your network that you're standing behind, you're saying that you look at Chris Cuomo.
I feel like that's an oxymoron, a black Republican.
There's also the time that Coleman Hughes went on the show to promote.
That's like when they say gay conservative is an oxymoron. No, you're just a moron, Sunny.
You know what's hilarious is American Dad, probably back in like 2010 or so, maybe a little later, but they did an entire episode on gay Republicans.
Yeah.
And how even though you're like, what? They're like really a thing. It's not new. It's not just because Trump, but it's not just because of Trump that gays are conservative. There's other reasons that gays were conservative.
Who do you think was the ones pushing for gay marriage? Were the ones pushing for gay marriage?
Homosexuals?
Conservative homosexuals. You think any liberal homosexuals were pushing for gay marriage?
No, because
they're
liberals
in
view marriage differently.
They're in polyamorous relationships. They're not. They don't want to get married.
Yes, it's a very conservative idea to want to get married to your partner as a gay person.
Yeah.
Yes. No, I agree.
Show to promote his book about achieving a colorblind society. And for the record, he's not a Republican, but because they disagreed with what he had to say, they were very hostile towards him.
Arguments for a colorblind.
Oh, I just want to say that I read his book, and it was a very, very good book. And I would highly recommend reading Coleman Hughes' book.
I would like to say that I'm backtracking a little bit, but it's extremely racist to assume somebody's political party based on their
skin color?
Absolutely. Like I've said this before on here, and I'll say it again. A lot of ethnic people are very religious because it's what they were raised in. It's their culture. Like part of my Puerto Rican culture is the religious aspect. It's not just the food or whatever. It's the religion too. And I'm sure you get that from being Italian and Roman Catholic.
Roman Catholic, yeah.
It's very much intertwined. Hispanic means New Spain, and it refers to any new Latin country.
Cuba, Venezuela, etc.
Hispanic, yeah. Instead of being Puerto Rican or a Spaniard or Cuban or Mexican. No, you're all now just one huge muddled mess of things that don't even always connect.
Cubano.
Well, what does Cuba have in common with Puerto Rico? They're on completely different ends. They're not the same culture. They might speak the same general language of Spanish, but that doesn't mean that they were the same. And to assume that all Hispanics are democratic when they all come from these different areas, and same thing with blacks, it's just very racist in my opinion.
Why do you say that?
It's identity politics.
Destiny is technically Hispanic.
Ew.
Yeah, for real.
A lot of people are mixed with that, though. Hispanics are all over the place, if you haven't noticed. Is the Hispanic population higher than blacks?
It's a good question.
I feel like it is.
America, what do you mean when you say that?
So a lot of people equate colorblindness to I don't see race or to pretending not to see race. I think that's a big mistake. We all see race, right? And we're all capable of being racially biased, so we should all be self-aware to that possibility. My argument is that we should try our very best to treat people without regard to race, both in our personal lives and our public policy. The reason I wrote this book is because in the past 10 years, it has become very popular to, in the name of anti-racism, teach a kind of philosophy to our children and in general that says your race is everything, right? And I think that is the wrong way to fight racism. I view this notion of a colorblind society similar to the idea of a peaceful society, which is to say it's an ideal, it's a North Star. And the point is not that we're ever gonna get there, we're not gonna touch it, but we have to know when we're going forward and when we're going backwards. And we're going backwards when we're doing woke kindergarten. My overall argument is that class, socioeconomics, is a better proxy for disadvantage. We all want to help the disadvantaged. And the question is, how do we identify them, right?
You know when they say that the Republicans are trying to make you not look at the economy and stuff like that because they want you to focus on the transgender issues? It seems to me like the left is doing the same thing, but with racial issues. Look at the race instead of look at,
anything else.
The poor people. How about we focus on poor people instead of just black people? Because there are some black people who are rich or come from rich families. You know what I mean? Like, why aren't we just focusing on poor people?
And those are usually the people who have the money to push for legislation that makes them more rich and the ones beneath them more poor. And I think it's just like we all can figure out tax brackets.
Yeah.
But we can't figure out who needs the money. Crazy.
Alt right now is to use, Black and Hispanic identity as a proxy for disadvantage. And my argument is that you actually get a better picture of who needs help by looking at socioeconomics and income.
Your argument for color blindness, I think, is something that the right has co-opted. And so many in the Black community, if I'm being honest with you, because I want to be, believe that you are being used as a pawn by the right and that you're a charlatan of sorts.
Sunny often poses her ad hominem attacks as a question so she can say, well, that's what your critics are saying. Another criticism that I have of the show is that they just lack self-awareness. They recently had a segment on the show discussing why so many people voted for Trump in the 2024 election, and a huge reason is because people are not happy with the economy and they are struggling financially. Now, Whoopi then says,
I appreciate that people are having a hard time. Me too. Yeah. I work for a living. If I had all the money in the world, I would not be here. Okay? So I'm a working person,
They're trying so hard to make people believe that they can relate to their regular everyday struggles. They're not.
Except if you lost The View for a year, you'd be fine. If a regular person lost their job for a week, they'd be fine. That's bullshit.
A regular person is just one paycheck away from being in debt.
That's my point.
Or being completely wiped out.
That's like I said, if a regular person misses a week or two of pay, they're f***ed.
Yeah.
If you miss a year on The View, you have enough royalties coming in that you're fine.
Yeah, your car breaks down, you're screwed.
Oh no, you need a smaller house and less luxury items, and you can't call that one bakery to give the entire studio fucking cupcakes. Get the f*** out of here.
You triggered her.
It's stupid.
And my kid has to feed her family, and my great-granddaughter has to be fed by her family. I know it's hard out there, but I also know that there are a lot of things that we just said, no, I'm just going to go this way.
Right. The fact that she is equating her so-called struggle to the struggle of working class people is nuts. According to Parade.com, she is worth around $60 million, and her last reported annual salary is between $5 million and $6 million per year. Another time that they...
Okay, no, these websites aren't always accurate. But if we're even going the low bracket of she's worth $10 million, which I highly doubt that's possible, that's an incredible amount of money. Some people never see that in their lifetime. They never earn it in their lifetime.
But Whoopi's working class. Don't you understand? That's also her salary. That has nothing to do with her royalties that she gets for all the movies she's been in.
I know. It's really not looking... It doesn't make her look good when she says stuff like that. But then again, they are the news show or commentary show of the non-self-reflected class of people.
The fact that she calls herself working class should just show you their image of what working class is.
Then what the hell are we, scum?
Yes.
Ugh.
The do I do if she's working class? You an essential worker?
Hey,
get out of here.
Kate Blanchett is middle class, though, remember?
I'm white, I'm privileged, I'm middle class.
Then what the hell are we? What is below poor?
We might as well just be dead. We're fodder.
We're dead.
Other time that they showed a lack of self-awareness is when they called men useless.
Do we need men? Most answered very quickly, no. And only one said she thought women needed a man in their lives, only one. But when men were asked a similar question, do we need women? Most of them said yes. So why do you think that is?
Because men are useless.
Because women don't understand a good thing when they have it, and men understand that women do make their lives easier, more sensitive. You ever talk to, men are the most aggressive things on this planet sometimes with each other. And a lot of men just need a soft, understanding person who's not going to abuse them and beat them up. Because that's what male friendship is a lot of the time. Not all the time, a lot of the time. And men respect the fact that they had mothers. They know without their mother, they wouldn't fucking live.
You're talking about in general.
Yes. Does a
Yeah.
man need a woman? That was the question. Does a woman need a man? Does a man need a woman?
Yeah.
I think as a species, we need each other in general.
Yeah.
That's just how it is. That's the synchronicities of life. We live in a lovely society where women can get married, but that doesn't mean we don't need a man to fix our car.
Yeah, we're going to need men for some things, like building bridges.
Going to the oil whatever rigs or whatever.
In the middle of the ocean.
Dude,
War.
I respect men. Do I want to date them? No.
No.
But will I cook for men that fought for our country? Yes. Will I respect men that are working hard for us? Absolutely. Am I gonna tip a really excellent man at his job? Yes. Because that's just it's funny because y'all are so sexist
I know.
and racist.
Women
because
nowadays, like, men are the enemy,
they
pretty
used
much.
to say lesbians hated men, but I feel like lesbians are really defending men.
No, queers who say they're lesbian, I don't think they like men. But they're not actual lesbians. I don't count them.
I'm not attracted to men, but I still like what they do in general. Like,
Yeah.
as a person, I have brothers, I have a father, I have male coworkers, I have female coworkers. I can just respect the synchronicities of life.
Men have written some of my favorite movies. Directed
And books, probably,
Yeah.
and music. And they've also probably built a lot of houses and industries you've been in. But women have fed those men and probably equally put in work to getting those things done.
Yeah.
Women make your clothing. Women make,
Yeah. I think
everyone's
they're
important.
forgetting somewhere along the line and throughout the years, the golden rule became nothing. Everyone forgot about it. And it became not treat people the way you want to be treated, but it's all about me. I'm special. I should be treated differently than you treat everyone else because you don't know me and I'm like special for some reason. I don't know. That this is what I've heard and what I've seen. The
Because their
actions of these people.
Their feelings take priority over anything.
Yeah, but my feelings matter more than any other stranger's
And
feelings
now
matter.
it's just a fight of whose feelings matter.
But feelings aren't something you can gauge. You can't put your feelings on a scale and weigh how much a feeling is. You know what I mean? Like,
Yes, it's not physically weighable. It's not.
It's not.
A feeling to go based off everything is insane.
Yeah, because what you
We're not
think,
going based off fact anymore.
right? Because what you think might be hate speech, I might think isn't hate speech. And so, if you're going to write a law about hate speech, whose opinion are you taking? And now you're creating a law based on only opinions, and that's nuts.
I still think there's some clear cases of hate.
Yeah,
crimes.
of course. But I'm not referring to those. I'm referring to what they are talking about, which isn't actual hate crimes.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
Like when we see hate, we think hate crimes, we're thinking serious. When they're talking about it, they're talking about, oh, their feelings got hurt.
Yeah.
Anyway, that's it for this. Like and subscribe, join our memberships, and all that good stuff. This was a long video. We might get demonetized because of the whole COVID conversation.
And the view.
And the view, but you know, you do what you got to do for the people. Thanks.
Bye.